by Sega.
Hey, how's it, YouTube? This is the Segaholic, and we're back with the Hello Kitty Dreamcast that we got from the last Dreamcast lot from Yahoo Japan through Bai. And we're gonna see if this guy's working or if repairs are needed. We're gonna pop in some virtual on, and hopefully this works. You can see the controller is plugged in, zero response. Try it on the second port, no response. The VMU would have beeped if it recognized the controller. So it looks like we have a dead controller port. Good news though is that this is spinning, so it's recognizing the game. This should be an easy fix to either fix the controller port or replace it outright. We're just going to remove the bottom 4 screws, and to do that, first we need to take off the modem. The modem is pretty clean. Usually this metal would be really discolored or stained from fingerprints. Interesting thing about this Hello Kitty Dreamcast is it has a Yamaha CD drive, and you can see it's a Yamaha because it's stamped Yamaha, whereas the Samsung CD drives will be obviously stamped Samsung. And you can see here this one is actually labeled Katana, which is a code name Sega used for the Dreamcast during development. What we're gonna do is just eliminate any type of connection issues to see if it was just a connection issue. We're gonna remove this and reinstall. I did the research on what would cause an unresponsive controller port for the Dreamcast or a dead controller port, and there's 2 components here that could fail to cause it. It would be this resistor here or this resistor here. Now, the way to check it, again, is just get your multimeter and put it to continuity mode. It should act like a short. You can see this one is open, while this bigger half-watt resistor is still good. When checking for continuity on this quarter-watt resistor, do not put your lead near the top of the resistor. You will not get an accurate reading if taken from here. I tested out a good resistor on a good controller port, and it would not read when taken from this point. What you want to do is go all the way down near the through holes and take your reading there, or take the whole controller port out and go right at the solder joints. This is for the quarter watt, and this is for the half watt. The replacement part from Mauser came in. This is actually a 0.47 ohm fusible resistor. The difference between a fusible resistor from a regular resistor is these are non-flammable, and to tell the difference between a quarter watt and a half watt resistor like this one here is just by size. These quarter watt ones should be about 6 millimeters, and then these half watt resistors are roughly 8 to 9. Again, today we're going to be replacing the quarter watt resistor, which is open. By the way, there are these kits available on eBay that has not only the quarter watt resistor, but also this half watt resistor and also this capacitor here. But it's much cheaper if you get these from Mauser. I'll leave the link in the description below. You can get a whole bunch of these for really cheap, even with the shipping tacked on. We're going to be using our solder sucker to remove the solder from the through holes. This solder sucker here is one of the best investments I made. Super simple to use. I prefer using this to my bulb type one, and again, for $6 can't be beat, and for $2 for replacement tips, very good value. By the way, this original resistor here is actually a different value that's no longer available. This is actually a 0.38 ohm resistor, but these are no longer available. The lowest one that I could find was a 0.47, which in this case would really be negligible as far as the difference goes. The reason why you kink it like this is so it doesn't go all the way through the through holes. Actually forgot one step here. So we need to clean off the pads on the through holes with the solder wick. The reason you clean it up is so that solder joint will not be compromised as far as strength goes. Okay, hopefully when we power this up, the VMU will beep. Alright, pretty easy fix. Again, as you saw here, looks like all we have to do now is clean the console out. You can see here, this one is a much coveted Yamaha drive. And you can see the Yamaha stamped in right there. And again, before we go any further, I'm just going to put on some nitrile gloves. You can get these gloves from Walmart like I did, next to the pharmacy, super cheap. Nitrile gloves are ESD safe, and it's a great way to prevent your hand oils from getting all over the metal and possibly staining it in the future. See, the main board here is not that dirty. I'm just gonna dust this off with the brush and clean off the bottom shell. You can see this one is a VA1. The bottom tray was very clean, as well as this RF shield here. Pretty much the cleanest I've seen yet on a Dreamcast. Virtually no rust. Oops, forgot to put this on. You can see how nicely this cleaned up. I've already buffed out the top, and the result speaks for itself. And see how great this came out. Notice the blue is not quite as blue as these Millennium controllers that were released in Japan. The difference between the Millennium controllers and these ones that were released in the US is that the back cover is clear, unlike the US version. Let's give this guy another test before we wrap this up. And I have a copy of Poppin' Music here, which I just got from eBay, and I'll be featuring the game and the controller in a future video. Now let's see if all the controller ports work.
grunt shit.
Music by Konami is the sound of the best game show kid.
We select that. Here we go.